राहुल बोले, मैं नेता नहीं होता तो एयर स्पेस कारोबारी होता। चीन की तारीफ में कहा, इनका इंडस्ट्रियल प्रोडक्शन सिस्टम बेजोड़ है, लेकिन वह लोकतांत्रिक देश नहीं। कांग्रेस सांसद राहुल गांधी ने शनिवार को त्रिवेंद्रम में कहा कि अगर वे पॉलिटिक्स में नहीं होते तो एयर स्पेस की दुनिया में एंटरप्रेन्योर कारोबारी होते। राहुल ने कहा कि वे एक पायलट हैं, उनके पिता और चाचा भी पायलट हैं। यह परिवार में चलता है। राहुल केरल के 2 दिन के दौरे पर हैं। वे टेक्नो पार्क में इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी IT फ्रेटर्निटी के साथ बातचीत कर रहे थे। इस दौरान उन्होंने चाइना के इंडस्ट्रियल सिस्टम की तारीफ की। कांग्रेस सांसद ने कहा कि चीन ने एक शानदार इंडस्ट्रियल सिस्टम बनाया है जिसका दुनिया में कोई मुकाबला नहीं है, लेकिन हमें उनका जबरदस्ती वाला सिस्टम पसंद नहीं है। वे डेमोक्रेटिक नहीं। राहुल गांधी ने केरल के इडुक्की जिले के कुटिकमन में चाय बागान के मजदूरों से बातचीत की और वर्कला के शिवगिरी मठ में श्री नारायण गुरु की समाधि पर भी गए। राहुल ने कहा कि दुनिया में युद्ध की तकनीक तेजी से बदल रही है। यूक्रेन के युद्ध में ड्रोन तेजी से इस्तेमाल हो रहे हैं जो पुराने पेट्रोल डीजल इंजन वाली तकनीक को पीछे छोड़ रहे हैं। वहीं ईरान जैसे देशों में भी सेना अब बैटरी ऑपरेट और इलेक्ट्रिक मोटर वाली तकनीक की तरफ बढ़ रही है। इन नई तकनीकों में अभी तक चीन की पकड़ सबसे मजबूत है। यह भारत के लिए चिंता की बात है, लेकिन सही नीति और दूरदृष्टि से तो भारत इलेक्ट्रिक मोबिलिटी और नई तकनीक के क्षेत्र में चीन को टक्कर दे सकता है।
The forefront of information technology are going to struggle. Lots of our software engineers are going to be replaced by AI. What we will do with AI and what we will do with the social revolution in this country, we would start by telling our young men and women that they have to be at the forefront of this revolution. Number 2, we would ensure that the absolute best experts on these technologies would talk to our students, would talk to our youngsters and guide them on what these future technologies are going to do. We would make them partners in this revolution.
Good morning, Technopark. We all are so privileged to have our leader of opposition, Sri Rahul Gandhi, in Technopark. So before going to the official program, I request you to play 1 minute video of Technopark.
It's not about building a career. It's about forging connections and maintaining a balance that fuels both personal and professional growth. The presence of a well-equipped gym, inviting cafeteria, and various recreational games within Technopark significantly contributes to employee well-being. These provides a much-needed break, promoting relaxation, stress relief, and overall productivity among Technopark's workforce. Beyond the code and algorithms, Technopark is also celebrated for its commitment to environmental sustainability. With lush green surroundings and eco-friendly initiatives, it creates a refreshing and invigorating atmosphere, forming a balanced equation for innovation between technology and ecology. Technopark never sleeps. From the first light of the dawn to the gentle glow of the moon, Technopark stands vigilant. Future perfect in every sense. This is Technopark.
Thank you. So now I invite our Honorable Member of Parliament from Trivandrum, Dr. Shashi Tharoor, to do the welcome address.
Thank you, Ranjit. Friends, I really am delighted to have the honor of introducing a very special guest to you all today. He doesn't need an introduction, of course, but he occupies a vantage point, a unique vantage point at the intersection of the world's largest democracy and our rapidly evolving digital landscape. In an era where algorithms shape discourse and data defines power, he has consistently advocated for a human-centric approach to technology. Whether discussing the democratization of information or the disruptive potential of AI on the global workforce, he challenges us to think about who technology serves. He isn't here today to talk about politics in the traditional sense, but to discuss the operating system of India, how we build inclusive systems, how we ensure data sovereignty, how we bridge the gap between the Silicon Valleys of the world and the rural grassroots to which ultimately we all have to be committed. If you review what Rahul Gandhi has been saying about technology, and you've heard some of it already while waiting for him to arrive, you'll find he emphasizes these specific angles that others don't talk about. Democratic decentralization, his focus on using technology to empower the edges of the network, the local communities, rather than just the center. Data sovereignty, his stance on data as a public good. You heard him speak in Parliament, the ethical implications of AI and surveillance, the question who controls our data. And I would finally say what I would call not the tech stack, which you all know about, but the human stack. Moving beyond code to discuss the social infrastructure required to support 1 billion people in a digital economy. The need for reskilling and more. And that's what Tony Thomas is going to get out of him this morning. In other words, you have someone here who has thought through.
And second is empathy, because machines cannot think like us. So if the empathy is what makes us different than from the machines. So if you are curious and if you're empathetic, then the rest of the things not really
and I would add one more,
Please.
which is persistence.
Indeed. Thank you.
If you can keep going, and keep being positive, then that's also very powerful.
Absolutely, indeed. So maybe can I ask Vinod one question, please? Yeah, Vinod is here.
Good morning, Rahulji. My name is Vinod Subramanian. I have about 20 plus years of IT experience, been working for multiple MNCs. My question is, as you rightly said in some of those videos, a lot of transformation is happening through AI for multiple industries. How would the skill set need to evolve, like especially to place a place like Kerala or anywhere in India for that matter? What is the change that you see need to be done from a professional community? As you might also see, this is also causing a lot of layoffs and other impacts as well. So how do we really absorb that, and how do we move forward from there?
We were sitting in the other room and we started talking and we immediately agreed on one thing. And it's something that I fundamentally believe in, which is that jobs do not disappear. Jobs are relocated. So people think, a robot that cleans a room has taken away the job of somebody who was previously cleaning the room. Yes, in the room. But if you go to the factory where the robot is being made, that robot has created a lot of jobs. That value chain has created a lot of jobs in the place where that robot was made. So the question is not so much about jobs being lost or jobs disappearing. The question is, there is a contest for jobs on the planet. How good are you at capturing them, right? And that's really the question. So that requires a particular mindset. It requires a particular level of openness, connectivity. It requires an industrial structure. So in my mind, there are essentially two parts of the economic system. One is a consumption side and the other is a production side. So this came out of the production side. And Uber is helping the consumption side, right? So in my mind, the real jobs come from the production side. The large numbers of jobs come from the production side. You can get excellent jobs in the IT space, but you cannot get jobs for everyone in India in the IT space. It's not going to happen. Because the IT space simply does not have the knock-on effects that a car manufacturer does, or a phone manufacturer does, or a ship manufacturer does, right? So industrial production is something, in my mind, where the real jobs sit. And the disappointing thing is that we've allowed China to just capture that. And so we play, the United States, India, pretty much all other countries, we play in the consumption space. If you look at our big companies, you know, you worked in the automobile sector, but if you look at our big companies, our startups, they're all consumption, mostly consumption, right? They're on the consumption side. We don't have big startups on the production side. So that's really, to me, the interesting space. And the real question is, China's built a superb industrial system, unmatched in the world, but we don't like their coercive system. We don't like the fact that they're not democratic. So to me, the big opportunity for India is, can we build an industrial system, a production system, but maintain our democratic values? That to me would be, or how did Britain before that actually become powerful? You find that they became powerful by controlling mobility, right? The British controlled the steam engine and coal. They built a navy. They controlled the trade routes. And the Americans did the same with petrol. And now the single biggest change that is taking place is that that idea is being challenged. The way we move is fundamentally being questioned and changed. So the technical people here would understand what I'm saying. An internal combustion engine essentially is up and down movement of the piston. And you have to transform that up and down movement into circular motion. And your fuel is in the fuel tank. Now, something fundamental is happening, which is that we are moving to a world of circular motion. We are moving to the world of the electric motor. Everybody says, oh, there are drones, there are electric cars, there are electric trains, there are medical instruments. If you go into detail of what they actually are, they're essentially built on the same architecture. An electric motor is running a drone. It has a battery attached to it. EV is essentially a number of electric motors with batteries attached to it. What you see in pretty much everywhere where things are moving, the electric motor is somewhere and a battery is somewhere. The only difference between this and a drone is electric motors. This has a battery, this has a camera, right? If you were to, the drone is essentially this with mobility on it. So that to me is where the real powerful things are going to happen. If you go to Ukraine and you look at what is going on in the battlefield, you'll find that circular motion, the drone, is completely decimating the internal combustion engine. If you even look, for example, at what is going on now in Iran, you will see that we are moving, the military power is moving towards the battery, optics, and the electric motor. And who dominates these technologies? Not India, not America, not Europe, China. And that for us is a huge problem, because we are the only people who can make that transition. We are the only people who have the scale to make that transition. I think that the United States and Europe, as far as circular mobility is concerned, cannot compete with the United States, with China anymore. But I think that given the right policies, given the right vision, India can compete with the Chinese on electric mobility, circular motion. There are 3 technologies that are at the core of this, right? You're the people who can pull it off, but you got to be able to see what actually is happening.
Very interesting. By the way, I worked for GE as well, General Electric as well. I was a CIO there. And so I know the story about Jack Welch coming in and setting it up in Bangalore. And a large portion of the IPs that GE has today comes from Bangalore.
Right.
So, of course, fully agree with that.
We have to value what we have. I keep saying it, we are sitting on the most valuable resource on the planet. If you came 100 years ago to India, right, we didn't have this resource. The connectivity was not there for this resource. Everybody used to say, oh, population is the problem. Well, that's quite interesting because our population is what has given us data, right? This conversation is data. Who owns this conversation? Who owns this conversation?
The cloud.
No. This conversation cannot be transmitted without YouTube. So YouTube owns this conversation. So we have to be able to see that. Who owns our data? How are we going to strategically use our data? That's really the question. You're engineers, you're technical people. Can you run a petrol engine without petrol? Is it possible? No, answer? No. Can you run AI without data? Is it possible? So, we keep talking about AI, but we have the data. Can anyone build AI without large-scale data? Not possible. Who has the biggest, largest data pile in the world? And I'm not just talking conversations, Uber drives. I'm talking genetic information. I'm talking medical information. Do you realize the value of the data of our medical information, of our genetic information? Entire medicine of the future is going to be built on it. So those are the hard questions. We have an AI summit. We don't have a data summit. Nobody is saying, listen, it's literally like Saudi Arabia turning around and having a summit on the petrol engine. It's like that. And then nobody in Saudi Arabia is saying, listen guys, we got the biggest oil reserves in the world. Please understand what has happened. The US deal that has been signed by the Indian government is essentially handing over our data to the United States. Nobody said, except me, nobody said a word. It's mind-blowing. You imagine if you went to, Russia, and Russia handed over their entire oil supply to the United States, what would happen? People were shouting and screaming. Not a peep in India. It's quite surprising to me.
I like the focus on data, being a CIO.
Of course.
Thank you. I think Srikumar is here, the GTech. Yeah.
You agree with me? Yeah.
Very good morning, Rahulji. Welcome to Trivandrum. I just wanted to touch upon the topic of data right now with AI, with innovations, with technology, the buzzwords now. How do we in India balance ourselves from government, from policies, from restrictions, from regulations, and from all sorts of governance? How do we regulate and how do we balance between the innovations that are happening in technology to the data protection?
बच्चों के भविष्य से खिलवाड़, ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में गुम विकास, न्यायिक क्रिया में भेदभाव, दबी हुई गरीबों की आवाज, पर अब होगी जनता की बात, सड़क से पहुंचेगी संसद तक आवाज। सिर्फ सुन सरकार, देखिए चाणक्य न्यूज इंडिया पर
खबरें जो आपको सीधे जोड़ती हैं हमसे, जिनका आपकी जिंदगी पर होता है सीधा असर, खबरों की वही तस्वीर, बिना बदले बिना डरे, जज्बा सच का लिए, सच दिखाते हैं।
चाणक्य न्यूज इंडिया, हम हैं हिंदुस्तानी।
कटेंगे तो कटेंगे। आज देश इनसे कह रहा है तुमसे नहीं हो पाएगा। Can you understand the ignorance? We are not looking for your admiration. आपको अपना काम करना पड़ेगा।
राजनीति देखिए चाणक्य न्यूज इंडिया के साथ।